Hello, my motor enthusiasts. You're tuned in to F1 Motor Fever podcast.
Hello there, Enzo. Last race was quite an event, wasn't it?
Indeed, William. Red Bull Racing has been shaking the earth with their RB19, Max Verstappen riding the wave of its power all the way to a potential third consecutive driver's title.
Blimey, that's an impressive run. Just how dominant is this car?
It's been instrumental in 13 wins this season and has been off the podium a mere 9 times in the 16 races so far. If we're talking numbers, they've amassed a staggering 623 points, with potential for more.
That does sound remarkable. But what's under the bonnet? What's making this car a marvel on the tracks?
It's a combination of superior design, development, and operation. They've focused on weight distribution and stability, outmaneuvering the new regulations better than their competitors.
So, they've made the most of rule changes and managed to recover lost downforce through aero development.
Spot on, William. And of course, let's not forget the man behind the wheel, Max Verstappen. His confidence in the car and the team has been key to their success.
An ominous spectre for their rivals, no doubt.
Absolutely, William. Red Bull Racing is riding the crest of a wave and shows no signs of slowing down. Stay tuned for more on this motor dynasty in the making. And for those just tuning in, this is your host Enzo, your relentless guide through the twists and turns of the Formula One world.
Alongside me today, as ever, is our seasoned commentator William, bringing his wealth of experience to our lively discussions.
That's right, William. And a gentle reminder to our listeners, we're here every day, blowing the dust off the freshest F1 news. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat with F1 Motor Fever podcast. Now, let's go full throttle. Quite an unbelievable season it's been indeed. Winning a staggering 13 out of 16 races, it's no wonder Verstappen is singing praises of his rocket ship of a car, the RB19.
It's hardly an exaggeration. If I'm not mistaken, the RB19 has only finished off the podium 9 times, and with Verstappen just once.
Correct. And the cherry on top, it's given Red Bull a whopping 623 points, with another 309 still up for grabs. If they bag maximum points from the final 6 races, they could rack up 932 points, surpassing their previous best season. In short, the RB19 is quickly shaping to be one of the greatest cars Formula One has ever seen.
Surely a testament to the relentless work of the team behind this wonder machine.
Absolutely. Team principal Christian Horner attributed their extraordinary performance to being broadly competitive everywhere. He applauded the team for maintaining their momentum, even amidst significant challenges.
I believe credit is also due to the drivers, notably Verstappen himself.
Undoubtedly. The driver leading the charge has been instrumental in achieving such phenomenal performance. It's not just about creating a competitive car, it's about making good use of it as well. Interestingly, the RB19 is described as a close evolution of its predecessor, the RB18. The design team had a clear vision of what they wanted to achieve. They started with getting the architecture right, focusing on aspects such as the placement of the front and rear wheels relative to the fixed elements of the chassis, engine, and gearbox.
And the primary focus was on the architecture and suspension systems, if I'm understanding correctly.
Exactly. The front and rear suspension, in particular, were considered key. However, the RB18 wasn't perfect. It started overweight at the beginning of last season, but the design team, led by technical director Pierre Wash, made it a point to address this issue with RB19.
Yes, weight is a significant factor in performance. And I believe the team also aimed to increase their capacity to change the weight distribution as a setup tool, correct?
You're spot on. They were struggling with understeer in low-speed corners and sought to improve that while also seeking more stability in high-speed corners. Not a small feat by any means.
And let's not forget the rule changes to tackle the porpoising issue that affected several cars last year. That must have posed a considerable challenge.
Indeed, it did. However, Watch appraised the aero department for doing a fantastic job in recovering lost downforce and overcoming the challenge of the rules.
It seems like it's not just about understanding the mechanics, but also about finding the best compromises. And the result speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Undoubtedly, the RB19 is a testament to the successful compromise and the understanding that mechanical grip and stiffness play a more significant role than in the past. Furthermore, the connection between the aero characteristic and how the car is run is more substantial than ever before. For those who've just joined us on F1 Motor Fever podcast, we've been delving into the unprecedented performance of Red Bull's RB19 in this Formula One season. From this machine securing a formidable 13 wins out of 16 races, to the extraordinary contributions of the team, and most notably Max Verstappen, who's on course to secure his third straight title.
Yes, it's a marvel of design and engineering, with a lot of credit going to the technical team behind it. They've managed to overcome the challenges of the previous season and have improved upon the already impressive predecessor, the RB18.
They focused on areas such as weight, architecture, and suspension. With the RB19, they have addressed the overweight issue, improved the understeer in low-speed corners, and increased stability in high-speed corners. Quite an achievement, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. It's a testament to the fact that understanding the mechanics of the car and the rules of the sport is just as crucial as making the right compromises to enhance performance. It's these factors combined that have contributed to the RB19 being one of the most successful cars in Formula One history.
Well put. Now let's carry on with our analysis of this remarkable machine. Picking up from where we left off, it seems the RB19's development hasn't been about throwing an array of random upgrades at the car, but more about making the right, effective changes. Horner himself acknowledged that they haven't done a vast amount of development on the car, but the modifications they've made have been enough to maintain a significant margin.
That's right. The key upgrades notably came in Azerbaijan and Hungary. They revised the car's side pods, added wider, narrower inlets on the side pod, a new engine cover, and a new floor. All these changes were aimed at maximizing performance.
Now, here's a bit of lighthearted speculation. Imagine if they did implement a vast amount of upgrades. The RB19 could very well leave its competition in the dust.
Ha ha ha! Now that's a tantalizing thought. But we ought to remember, it's not about the quantity of upgrades, but the quality. And making such insinuations could be misleading. It's crucial always to have the facts at hand.
Very true, my friend. I suppose the important takeaway here is how they've managed to maintain performance across a variety of circuits. It's not just the technical team's work, but the operational team's efforts too, that have been invaluable.
Yes, a testament to their efficiency. They've had to be selective with their upgrades, especially with reductions in their wind tunnel time due to regulations and penalties. But every challenge can also bring about an advantage, and for Wachi, this only pushed the team to be more efficient and focused.
Quite so. The RB19's dominance isn't just about its impressive development, but also the predictability of its behavior and its straightforward nature. Now let's delve deeper into the specifics of these changes. Paul Monahan, Chief Engineer, Car Engineering, sums it up quite well. The RB19 has been incredibly adaptive across different circuits and downforce levels. I recall one incident where the car's adaptability was truly tested. Remember the Grand Prix at Monza? With its intense speed and challenging corners, Verstappen secured a win seamlessly, showcasing the car's versatility.
It brings back memories of my own. I remember standing on the sidelines once during a major race, observing a similar situation. A driver struggling to maintain position due to the limitations of the car's adaptability. They weren't so lucky, I must say.
It just goes to show how much of a difference a well-adapted car can make. But not just the car, the RB19's success also comes down to the man behind the wheel, Max Verstappen. Despite a strong start from Sergio Perez, it's Verstappen who has truly exploited the RB19's advantages.
Yes, his performance has been extraordinary. After initially losing out to Perez in Baku, Verstappen won a record-breaking 10 races in a row. Even a bad weekend in Singapore couldn't stop him. He scored more points, single-handedly, than any of his rival teams.
It's that level of self-confidence and resilience that marks the making of a champion. Even a setback doesn't deter him. He bounces right back the next session, and he's right on it. Now, let's look into Sergio Perez's performance and what led to his title charge spluttering. The RB19 and Verstappen make one of the most formidable combos the sport has ever seen. Quite likely, by the end of 2023, they will surpass Mercedes's record of 19 wins in a season and set a new record for points scored. But the team isn't resting on its laurels, are they?
Not at all. Horner is clear about this. He insists they won't stop there. His words were, "To repeat a season like this, it's a golden moment for us. To do better than we are doing, I think, is impossible. We are riding a wave, and we want to ride that wave as long as we can."
It's a thrilling prospect. But he also emphasizes something crucial, doesn't he? That Formula One is a fast-moving business, and teams can rise and fall rapidly. There can be no complacency, no taking things for granted. They must keep pushing the boundaries.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this sport so enthralling for us spectators. One minute you're at the top, the next moment someone else is ready to take the crown. The competition is fierce, and the spectacle extraordinary.
Indeed. And for Red Bull's rivals, this drive to keep pushing and improving is rather a daunting prospect. This never-ending quest for supremacy makes for a thrilling season of racing. Let's dive a bit deeper into this. William Turner, fancy having a look at what the internet's been saying about this whole Red Bull dominance issue?
Certainly. Here's a post by a Duncan Dixon Coffee, quote, "Brown, big concerns over Red Bull and AlphaTauri common F1 ownership," unquote.
Ah, the good old debate about team ownership. What's the chatter about that?
Delgadude comments, quote, "I mean, 18 years too late," unquote. But it seems Southport DC disagrees, saying, quote, "To a degree previously, it wasn't much more of a concern than a very reliant customer team. With the changes in regs on wind tunnel time and cost caps, a team that holds a double entry is potentially much more concerning for the competitors," unquote.
Ah, the old regulations argument. Anything else?
Quite a thread follows that. I'm Reverse Giraffe says, quote, "Do you really think the FIA isn't looking for them sharing info? Everything is audited by the FIA. If they tried to cheat, it would be caught," unquote. But several people, including Jerbear 805 and Antipasto, point out the history of cheating in F1 and suggest that it's not just likely, but expected.
The good old, "if you're not cheating, you're not trying" philosophy. Anything else of note?
Westerns brings it back to the FIA saying, quote, "You have to trust one side of this equation, otherwise this sport straight up doesn't work. And in most cases, it's more important to trust the regulatory body that's trying to keep the sport healthy to actually be doing that," unquote.
Right, a call for trust in the FIA. But as ever, the internet is divided.
Quite right. For instance, Antipasto retorts, quote, "It's true you need to have some level of trust, but it can't be blind trust. It's contingent on the FIA proving that they can guarantee the competitive fairness of the sport," unquote. And MemTBNZ sums up the central problem, saying, quote, "The fact that both the teams and the regulators have long track records of either outright foul play or just inconsistent application of the rules that a lot of people don't trust either side. That's kind of the main problem with F1 historically, but also to certain people, a big part of the appeal," unquote.
So it seems, a fascinating divide between fans, just like in the sport itself. Thanks for that, William. And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you for joining us on this exciting ride through the world of Formula One on today's episode of F1 Motor Fever podcast. We've covered the riveting story of current racing trends, team strategies, and even the fans' opinions. It's always great having you as part of our listening community. If you enjoyed our conversation, don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications. Your support keeps our motors running.
And remember, opinions are like taillights. Everyone has them, but not everyone's work. Make sure yours does by sharing your thoughts in the comments section. We might even feature your comment in our next episode. We're raring to go every day, so don't miss a beat.
It's been a pleasure having you with us, and we can't wait to share more insights, debates, and behind-the-scenes stories from the world of Formula One in our next episode. Until then,
keep the conversation flowing, keep the enthusiasm growing, and let's keep the love for Formula One glowing. Enzo and William together, pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road. Our channel's content is pure gold.